All right, chat, so let's talk V-Day, and we'll talk Caren after this as well, so if anyone wants to see that, stick around. Again, Valentine's Day came out February 10th on JP. That happened literally a week into the Grail front. Again, there's 7 Grail fronts. They're going to end basically, and then there's going to be a whole nother follow-up week in the Grail front where there's just nothing. It's just giving people time to actually complete them if they weren't on top of it. But that's why they ran Valentine's Day a week into it. So there was a little bit of an overlap, but it's not really that strange because Grail fronts themselves aren't really an event. There's not a whole lot to do in them. That being said, for NA here, it's looking like it's going to come out on the 13th now. So we're still preserving that sort of 3 days behind that we are now. We actually went from being a little bit ahead to now all of a sudden we're a couple days behind. Just to briefly touch on that here, again, don't necessarily think like, oh no, we're lagging behind, terrible things are going to happen. There's plenty of time for them to catch up on this throughout the schedule and still give us something like Lost Belt 6, you know, early or something like that. And I actually got a question about that here on stream slightly before I started. So just kind of briefly mentioning that, yes, I do believe you'll probably get Lost Belt 6 early. I've seen a lot of like basically like really out there takes where a lot of people are assuming that because that countdown banner ends like, what is that, I think March, that oh man, we're gonna be getting Lost Belt 6 in March. I'm gonna warn you guys, there's probably gonna be a part 2 to that banner because that banner only covers basically all of part 1 and the Epic of Remnant. It does not cover anything from Lost Belt. So I'm going to tell you there's probably going to be a part 2. That also might be how we maybe will get the Lost Belt Kings banner that Korea had. So I think that's going to be something that they might do for us. Now, again, if that's the case, then that does look like, hey, yeah, that'll probably be sometime in May that we'll get Lost Belt 6. And that's kind of what I've been thinking all along. So they still have plenty of time that they can move the schedule around. I'm not really that worried about it. And I'm just going to say, again, don't worry about the 3-day gap here that we have going on. So just going into Valentine's Day. Again, this one's definitely going to be the one that everyone's going to remember for Caren. That is certainly a thing. This was a really, really interesting one when it came out. We do have some new mechanics in this one. Blaine, thank you for the resub. So again, just kind of talking to you guys about this. All the Valentines will be voiced by their VAs. Again, that is something that again we've had for at least a year already. You will have main quest locking going on throughout this, and that will sort of be gating your free quests as well as you guys go on. So keep that in mind. That's more par for the course, though. We see this all the time in a lot of events, so don't get too upset about it. Obviously, Karen's going to be your new SSR. She's a 5-star AoE quick ruler. She's definitely a really good one you want to look at. But again, I'll get the analysis done for her soon. Now, let's see here. Obviously, you've got event bonus, and there is, interestingly enough, another unit with event bonus that you don't normally see. But I believe basically is it every unit that has event bonus, or is it just... Yeah, sorry, it's units that you've given the chocolate to. That's what this one is. So you guys can give chocolate to individual units. That's going to give them bond and damage bonus. So certainly, I saw this happen a lot when this came out on JP. People were giving their hearts to like units they wanted to bond faster. And that can definitely be a thing, especially if you're going to be using the unit a lot while farming. That could certainly be a thing to like fast track and try and push your bond level some, maybe get some free quartz, maybe get again to a higher level for like coin requirements and stuff like that. So definitely can use these wisely. I believe it will sort of give you a feedback as to potentially like which unit you gave the most to at the end. And I believe it also gives you a Valentine scene based off of which unit you gave the most to. But I'm trying to remember exactly how that worked. But yeah, you've got the Lock On Chocos, which is your guaranteeable ones, the ones that you guys can use to unlock one specific unit's Valentine's scene. And then you've got the surprise one, which is just random. You'll get any number of units that you haven't already given a chocolate to get their Valentine's thing. And then you've got the Super Lock On one, which again is the new addition here, as you guys can see. You've got a strawberry and a blueberry. One is available for each type, and I believe it's male and female. Super Lock On can be used to receive chocolate, while the blueberry can be used to give chocolate. Yeah, so again, male and female. The Super Lock On will get used with a special skill, Sniped Heart B, during the Valentine's event. And there you guys can go. You guys can see that that's what gives you the damage increase and the bond increase. There are servants that I guess you can do like again, so like in Kidu, where they're on both the male and the female side of things, but you can only give one to them. So you can't like try to game the system to double up on the bonus. That's not going to work for you. Again, you've got a welfare CE in this one. I didn't talk about this in my welfare CE's video because it's all right. It's not the best. It again will be probably 50% charge at MLB here, and then NP damage and buster and quick up. That's not bad in and of itself, but it's split stats, so you're probably not going to want to like actually invest in leveling this craft essence too much. Now again, we've got some command codes here. I'll talk about them. The first one here, your 5-star, is Moon Goddess in Love. The engraved card will deal 20% extra damage against male enemies. Could certainly be really nice, especially for your anti-male units. You can just already go even harder into their niche and make them pop off. But who knows, maybe in the right set of circumstances, maybe you're just facing a male boss and you need some more firepower, some more carding ability against that boss. This can work on any unit, so it does not have to be specific to a anti-male unit. Again, your 4-star command code here is when attacking using the engraved card, remove 1 defensive debuff and recovers 200 HP. It's gonna be really nice for bosses that tend to like spam you with defense downs, because not only is it going to heal you, it's also going to cleanse that defense debuff. So that could be really good as well, just for challenge environment and stuff like that. And then your 3-star here is another really good one. We don't often get arts ones in the game, and so when we do get them, I feel the need almost to point them out, because they really like to give you not necessarily very card type specific command codes out there. There are plenty that are there, but only a few of them are arts. And so again, that's something I've noticed over time here. But this one's when engraved on an arts card, if the attack using the engraved card removes 1 attack buff and 1 defense buff on the target. So basically, if you put this on, it'll remove an attack and a defense. So not bad. That can definitely be nice against a enemy that is stacking that sort of stuff, trying to hit you really hard or trying to like mitigate you. Again, even something like Demeter and LB5, that can certainly help you out for something like that. So let's see here. So then the summoning campaign, again, this one's going to be Caren. And then just so you guys are aware, Valentine's always a little bit weird compared to some of our other banners. This will probably be different on NA. Actually, I believe Avalon sent me how it worked on Korea, because Korea already had their announcement. So let me pull it up here real quick. So we don't have the announcement yet as of me recording this, but this was Korea's schedule, and you guys can see that obviously Caren has her own banner and is on rate up all of the days. But then on top of that, you have individual one-day banners for each of your SSRs. So that's probably how that one's going to work. Here's the weird and wonky thing about your Valentine's Day banners. You cannot roll males in these banners. Same thing with Chaldea Boys later in the year. You cannot roll females in those. So Valentine's is going to be really, really nice for this, primarily because you're going to have the ability to now get solo rate ups with these units, because this should be how they're going to handle it. In the past, what it would have been is you would have had a joint banner between, say, Altera and Caren. Now you're instead just going to get a Caren banner and an Altera banner on their own. So you'll be able to roll for a solo rate up. Some people liked rolling the dual rate up. That way they had a chance of getting both the new unit and the unit that they were kind of low key after. So that certainly was a nice thing. But I think people, especially when there's no like 4-stars or anything at play, they're going to probably prefer having solo banners to actually go after units they want. So that'll definitely be nice, especially because some of these units are somewhat rare, especially some of the story locks like Lartoria. You will be able to have an actual solo banner for them now instead of having to roll a duel. So this can certainly make it nicer for getting a unit that you want. Again, this is how I expect it is going to happen on NA. Because of the presence of the pity system already, they're going to restructure this banner. I can almost guarantee it. And thus, as a result of that, I think you guys can expect each one of these units is going to get their own banner. Victoria gets a banner this year as well. Yes. Yeah, she does. She has another banner later this year in Lartoria's specific case for the Camelot Grail front that comes later. Anyways, So just that's basically going to be the gist for your 5 stars here. And so just keep in mind that rule that, like, yeah, you cannot roll another male. That also does mean that basically any of the units available here should be able to spook you rolling on any of the other units. So for instance, if you roll Altera, you should still have a general pool of, like, yeah, Lartoria should exist back there. But again, that sort of depends. I don't know if that rule will stay in effect with them changing the banner. I assume it will, because I assume they still won't let you roll males on each of these, but who knows? That should be a thing that should be pretty interesting. Looking at your craft essences now from the actual gacha here, you've got Cook's Heart here, which is invincibility, 2 hits, and Buster Up. Again, that's going to be sort of like a more offensive-oriented Volumen. Definitely an interesting one, not necessarily one you necessarily have to go after unless you just really feel like that's going to be useful, but it is split stats. Maybe that's good if you want a more defensive build, but for me, again, probably not a CE I'm going to invest in. Bitter Jewel here is going to be your 4-star. It's charge per turn and NP charge of 1 time. This could certainly be interesting. It is an all attack scaling 4-star CE, probably still not going to be one that I'm going to invest in, but hey, charge per turn and overcharge can certainly be useful at a certain point, just depending on what you're doing. And then Dear Friend is going to be all HP scaling with HP recovery rate and NP gain. Honestly, not bad, except for the fact that it's NP gain when receiving damage. If this were just straight NP gain, I think this would actually be a fairly decent 3-star CE for like a support character or something like that, especially for like challenge environments where you're maybe going to have a whole lot of healing getting dished out. So that could have certainly been a really good one, but I think when receiving damage makes that a little meh to me. Then okay, so we also had game updates here. This is where Kid Gil got his charm upgrade. I believe this makes it applicable to all enemy types, so definitely a nice one for him. Yeah, I guess they gave us a birth date adjustment for this, where you weren't able to set it to February 29th if you were born on February 29th in a leap year, but it is what it is. And apparently this also allows masters to change their birth date once. I don't remember if we already have this on NA or not. If we don't, you'll have it here, but I think you probably already do. We should have it. Okay, that's what I was thinking. All right, so then we get to the event shop here, and you know, there's normally some rules for how the event shops are always structured. You guys can see there is a miscellaneous one for the chocolates at the end. So any unused chocolate will get converted to QP. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things, and you will have plenty of opportunities to farm QP this year, so don't feel like you necessarily need to skimp out. I would argue, in fact, that you should just go ahead and exchange all the hearts that you can and try to unlock all the scenes. That's something that you then won't have to do for later Valentines. And frankly, and I know this is going to sound crazy to people, but if you don't value the Valentine's Day Cs, you can turn them into craft essence bombs. They are not going to be worth what you think they are, because you'll get a Valentine seed, it'll be a 4-star that's like 80 out of 80. It's not worth what a maxed 4-star craft essence normally would be. So it's basically I think it's just the normal value of an actual 4-star CE unupgraded. So but still, hey, it's better than nothing, especially if you just plan on getting them. Like for someone like me, I get all the Valentine Cs I can every single year, so that I just keep getting them back, so I'm okay to turn them in the fodder. And I know to some people that sounds crazy, so if you don't want to do that, especially on like your favorite units, save those, put them in your second archive or something, make sure you keep them in a safe place. But the rest, yeah, you're absolutely fine to turn that into craft essence experience. If you need help with that, obviously I have a guide on how to make craft essence bombs, but hey, it is what it is. Heresy, there you go. See, chat's already getting on to me over it. But here, so looking at the 5-star, sorry, the gold shop here, you guys can see we get 2 versions of the 5-star welfare CE. Now, again, this one, as you guys saw, is going to give you the, I think it's the points here, the love points or whatever the heck they're called, for, I think it's the ladder that we have in this one. I'll have to look. We'll get to it later in this, but again, so you'll get 2 of the 5 copies needed right here. You're going to also have Hearts of the Foreign God. You're going to have Chaos Claws here. You're going to have the new 5.5 yarn. That's going to be certainly useful to some people. Also, Caren's costume will be in this. Obviously your gold statues, if you need these, go after them, but typically what I tell people, especially you newer players out there, as you start to get into higher level content, you will sort of naturally get gold statues dropping from things, whereas you won't get that anymore with like silver statues. So typically if I buy any sort of monuments or statues out of the shop, I actually tend to buy the silver ones, not the gold ones. But that's how I've operated my JP account for years, and it served me well. Some of you guys may not be working with as much of the lead, so if you feel the need to buy these, don't feel bad about that. Obviously, you get one copy each of your types of gold foes there. And then basically, we're going to switch down now to the silver material shop. You're going to get one more copy of the Welfare CE, 10 meteor shards. I definitely know there's going to be some people that'll be happy to see that. Obviously, your meteor horseshoes, and then your 30 stakes there, which again, stakes are another one of those materials where, yeah, they do have a lotto coming up in the future, but they are still a really nice mat to get your hands on, because there's a lot of units that use them, and now even more have been added with appends. They really sort of tried to beef up the appends. Again, then there's your silver statues here. So like I said, if you're going to buy anything with regards to statues, these are the ones I would go after. And then one more copy of your attack gold foe there. Don't buy the command code removers. If you're wondering why I'm skipping over them, that's why. They're not worth your currency. Just skip them. You do not need them anymore. They basically do not function. There's no advantage to them. So then we get to the bronze shop here, and this is going to be one more copy of your CE. So that is 4 now. That means you're going to have to find the 5th one, but it should be somewhere else later in the event, if I remember correctly. Again, you've got your LB3 bells here. You've got seeds, which again can be a mat that people can get really low on really fast. And then you're going to have 30 bones, which I'm sure will also be welcome. Again, you get one more copy of your gold foe, and then your normal silver foes here, as well as your 4-star and 3-star embers here. Now, again, I'm personally of the opinion that a lot of your 3-star embers should probably be burnt for the mana prisms, but certainly you can use them at low levels of leveling up a servant. Do not use them at high levels. They are extremely QP inefficient, so I would not tell you to do that. But if you use them at a low level, there's not a huge QP cost at that level, so it's not a bad thing if you want to actually try to work them in. Okay, I'm not going to go through the main quest with you guys too much here. We will talk about some of the other quests, though. Again, you guys can see you will get more of the points from doing free quests and such, as well as your general overall currencies. You are going to get what's called the Bitter Shadow Challenges, and I believe we get one of these a day. It looks to be the case. Now, these are going to be very, very weird. The way they work is you're going to try to get through as many of these as you possibly can within the turn limit. Now, again, the way this thing operates is you will say use an AoE NP and kill the entire wave. Now, normally with normal combat structure, how this works is you wipe that wave, and then, you know, next turn happens, and you know, maybe the units file in. Instead, in this is going to be our new mechanic. Now, when you kill these enemies, the second wave of enemies or any other units that you left available in those slots will load in first. So they will still get a turn. So you wiping the wave doesn't mean you get anything. And so your goal is to try and get through as many of these as possible before your turns run out. And that's where, again, it's actually going to be possible to say, like, do an AoE NP into carding the enemies on the next wave, because they will fill in immediately right after you kill. So again, be careful about that. That may catch you by surprise. Certainly, you guys can also see there do get to be some like decently high health ones deeper in that maybe can cause you problems depending on the units that you're actually trying to use. So that is certainly a little bit of an issue there. Sorry, I'm just trying to see what chat's saying about this, if you guys have any questions on it. Actually, chat, how many turns do we get? Do you guys remember? I believe it's like, is it 6? No, battle ends in 3 turns. There you go. So you have 3 turns by which to kill as many of these as possible, right? So that's where, again, you're going to want to try to like, again, you can put up like multiple AoE and Ps and stuff like that, try to chain them. You can try to set up a looping scenario for that to work as well. Just keep in mind, you only have the 3 turns, so it's kill as many as possible within that time. But yeah, I could not remember the amount of turns that you actually had to do it. I just remembered that, yes, they do auto fill in, and that's the thing that is unique about this. But you basically are going to get QP as well as the points for each normal enemy defeated, and again, even more for defeating each of the servants that are in there. And so you guys can see here, like for instance, the servant all the way down here, this one's Lanling Wang. So even though it doesn't display as that, it shows them as Bitter Shadow. The servants will be worth more. So if you can try to game the system to do that, you should. And there will be some people that will have some stuff up for how to like get through each of these in the 3 turns and get through as many of the enemies as possible, like the maximum amount. Don't feel bad if you can't do all the enemies. Don't feel bad if you end up short somehow. Not every account's going to have the capability. Some of them are, it's going to be really wonky setups and maybe even RNG and luck in order to try and get all the kills out of the way. But still, try to get as many as you possibly can. As long as you're doing something like, I'd say probably upwards of like 15 units each time you're going through these, shouldn't be too bad. So I'm gonna again try to tell you guys, probably try to use AoE and Ps, but yeah, there's certainly a good amount of just straight up like murder hoboing that you can do in these nodes. Ever done it before? Yes. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through each one of these. Obviously they do kind of get some weird ones later on, like you guys can see. Here's a Moon Cancer one, so just keep in mind, try to look ahead, try to see what each of these is before you go in. The ruler one as well. So definitely going to be a new interesting mechanic for this. We obviously have a challenge quest. Not going to go into that for you guys. You guys can look up an actual guide on that one. Just again, your challenge quest will get you a lore, so that's really all you need to know on that. And then yes, here we go. So here's our point ladder. I was going to say, I could have sworn I remembered this having a point ladder. Obviously you've got some really nice stuff from this, and that's where again doing the daily Bitter Shadow challenges will also help you scale this point ladder a lot faster. Putting your Super Lock On Chocolate on someone and using them also going to help you. So again, that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, like, that will allow you guys to be able to bond up as many units as you can. That will allow you to be able to take the maximum point bonus and stuff like that. I would focus more on the ladder than necessarily like trying to like min-max bond. You can do that if you want, but I'm sure someone out there will try to focus on that. But I'm just gonna say again, especially for you like newer players and players that haven't maybe done as many Valentines before, your goal should be to try and complete this ladder. It should be to try and get all of the chocolates you can for all of your units. Do keep in mind, there are enough chocolates here to get a chocolate for every single unit in the game. So whatever chocolates, if you collect them all, whatever chocolates you have left at the end is the amount of servants you're missing. So keep that in mind. So you don't necessarily have to collect them all if you don't have a very robust roster, but I'm still going to tell you that again, going through this and actually getting the rewards here, some of them can be really nice for your account. Your goal should always be to complete a ladder, and most of the time you should be capable of doing it on Nat AP. And you guys can see here too, again, you have stuff deeper in like the command code, so you're really going to want to get your hands on some of this. Again, here at 1 million, there's another gold foe. I'm still looking to see if we actually have the craft essence in here. I maybe missed it, but I don't remember if we get the 5th copy or not. All right, and then 2 million and then 3 million. So you get a lore at 2 million and a lore at 3 million. So normally everything after like a certain amount, like say 2 million here, will be a little bit of cleanup, but they still are clearly giving you some nice stuff, even up to the point of 2.2 million. Sorry, 2.5 million there. So it looks like at least the last 500,000 is going to be a little bit like, not that big of a deal, but I still am going to tell you that you'll want to try and get to the 3 million if you can. 4 C's only as far as I can tell. Okay, that's, I was like, man, maybe I missed it, or like really quickly here flipping through the early ones, but yeah, I did not think that's the case. So it looks like you guys will have to get a 5th copy for that, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, definitely try to get as far as you can in the ladder. And obviously there is a list for all the units here on fandom if you guys want to use that. Remember, there is the chocolate that you're giving to your females, and then there is the return gift that you're getting from your males. So don't confuse that. It's basically chocolate for both sides of things, but it's just the direction that the chocolate heads. Either way, though, you do need the either the random chocolate or the lock-on chocolate in order to get these done. Now, again, up to you. If you're confident that you have a lot of them, you can certainly just use randoms and you'll get everything eventually anyways. But if you really want to like focus on one, try to get one in particular, make sure you watch it. That can be a thing where you just do the lock-on. So again, that's pretty much it for the event, though. It is a it's got the bitter shadow challenges, it's got a point ladder, and it's got the and it's got the new mechanics in that shadow challenge. But otherwise, it should just be relatively straightforward. You're just gonna be doing the main quest in order to set up the unlock of new free quests, and you're gonna spend the majority of your time on those free quests just doing them at like 40 AP. So nothing too crazy in that regard. I think you guys will be able to do plenty there. Now then, let's start talking about Caren.